and welcome to the Stateside Soccer Show. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Logan. How are you today, Logan?
Jordan, I am cold, much like the rest of the whole United States, probably because Florida is probably the last place that gets cold. And if it's cold here, it means it's brutally cold everywhere else. So,
Yeah,
thinking about all of you that are icicles today, hope you get warm.
thanks. Yeah, I woke up and took the dog out and checked my phone because I'm like, it is cold out here. And it said 34
It's
feels like
cold.
12. And I'm like, oh, shit.
You know what's
No
wild?
wonder I'm cold.
You live somewhere where like it gets cold when you wake up and have that realization. Whereas like when we're in Florida, we knew this was coming like weeks ago. We're like
Oh,
calling,
yeah.
we're like,
Well, I
oh
don't
shit, we
look
gotta
at
get all the
weather
blankets
anyway.
out.
I'm sure
Right.
I'm sure people knew, but I did not. Like I didn't know it was gonna be this windy, which is what made it really cold. I could deal with 30 degrees, but like it said 12, it felt like 12. I'm like, oh my god, because like the last couple days were in the 60s. It was great.
Beautiful. Yeah.
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 Today, oh my god. So much so my dog did not want to stay outside. Like he went pee and ran right back into the house. I was like, that's cool
Yeah.
with me, dude.
Yeah. We
Um,
have people at work. The person I work next to, she and her husband have two little ones. Like I think they're 1 and 2, and one of them has never felt cold before like this. And I guess he woke up today and was like, she
Something's
said that,
wrong.
yeah, something's going on. Like something has happened. We're in the upside down or something where it gets cold. But yeah, Jordan, it's been brutal. And then I sent you that clip over the weekend, the Canadian championship game.
Yeah,
That
that was
was
cool, huh?
wild. But I was thinking like, Jordan, I we're getting to a point in the year where like one of these games coming up could be in some really tough conditions as far as snow. Like you're in some really tough areas where like Philly and Cincy, like you can get some serious snow up there.
Well, it's a great thing then we wasted 2 weeks for round 1,
Exactly.
right? Is that
Just for it to cool off a little bit.
we really love playing these games in harsh conditions. Look, if it feels like we haven't recorded in a while, we haven't, but that's also like the same amount of time between the wild card and the end of this first
Right.
round. So that's an indictment on the league.
Yeah. Like we can
Um,
literally miss 2.5 weeks of not really recording or doing
and
much
not miss a thing.
stateside and not really miss anything.
I only had to update my notes slightly
Yeah,
because we were
that's
going to record after round 1, and I
yeah.
only had to make a couple adjustments to this because yeah, we had the best of 3 series kicking us off again. We also had Orlando just completely crapping the bed, and Chicago won that. Portland moved on in their wild card matchup against RSL, and left us with this beautiful format that everybody loves so much. And I was doing some research on this, and I posted about it probably 2 weeks ago because of how long ago this was. But when Philadelphia almost blew that first game, okay, right? They have a 2-0 lead. Chicago comes back, scores 2, and they go to penalties. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, I as a Philadelphia fan, my mind starts racing of how many times does the team that wins the first leg or first game move on, because I need to know if we lose this, what are our chances? Logan, do you know what those chances are?
If you lose the first game,
If you lose the first game,
I mean, since I guess I would guess that it's above 90% that you lose.
I didn't actually do the math. Hold on.
Math isn't really our strong suit. We've been over
Okay.
this.
It is a 92%
Yeah.
chance of not going through.
I felt like it would be.
Because here's the numbers. I went all the way back to when this started in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
In there, every team that won game 1, which was out of 8 games, like 8 teams, so 8 series, all 8 moved on if they won game 1 in 2023. in 2024, 6 of the 8 series, if they won game 1, won the series. This season, 8 out of 8 won the first game. That means they moved on. So only 2 times, and that is NYCFC against Cincy last year, and Atlanta beating Miami last year, were the only instances where the team that won game 1 did not move on. Every other time, which to me, Logan, people can say this is exciting. And by people, I mean MLS, right? They can say this is exciting. Oh, we're giving chances for that, for a team to kind of overcome whatever. Let's say a really good team like Miami loses game 1. They could go on to win the next 2 and be safe. But in my mind, if only 2 times out of the 24 series, if that game 1 winner does not move on, just seems to me we should go back to just being one game. Nothing is being gained here. In fact, you're playing more games, you're playing more minutes, which can cause more injuries. And then, like we were just talking about, it's pushing this into, where this series took 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is that so many people are going to compare it to other sports because I mean naturally we have some of the biggest sports leagues in the world in the United States. So if you look at it from a baseball perspective, right? The AL and NL switch nights usually. So like there's always some game going on. The NBA people will go, "Well, that's 2 months." But I'm like, "Yeah, but every night has a game or 2, usually 2." So there's that aspect of it. NFL, people are so invested in NFL, you could make that playoff go for 3 months and they'd be fine with it. I think MLS, because it has a hard time, and then you have this weird break in the middle that we're currently going in through, and then it's the colder weather. Jordan, like you're reaching into now holiday time, and people are going to spend the holidays. They're going to be watching for Thanksgiving and like around Thanksgiving, they're watching NFL and college football. Like you're in a really tough spot. So I feel like the attention span for MLS is just not there to have these, like the league's just not popular enough to warrant playoffs like this. I think as we get further and further into expanding this league, I think that a more reasonable playoff setup is going to probably be more like baseball, where you have 2 of the best teams get a bye week to start the playoffs. But I think that, that's going to take a while. It's going to take at least 3 or 4 more teams in the Eastern Conference and Western Conference.
We used to have
So,
that, though. We used to have them
yeah,
have a bye.
right,
It's just that you can't do that with the best of 3, I don't
right.
think. Though can you? Because what I mean by this is people would say you're sitting too long. The Union are going more than like another 2 weeks. Their
Mhm.
game is on the 23rd of November. Their last game was game 2. They didn't have
Yeah.
a third game. So like we're going a long time without a game for the Philadelphia Union and for a lot of these teams because of the international break that they're including here. Because they like, in my opinion, the way that it should always be set up. And I know I feel like we talked about this a lot lately, but I really think this is just like so. The Union haven't played since November 1st.
It's 22
Their
days, I
game,
think,
it's 3 weeks of no game. 3 weeks,
which doesn't happen unless it's the offseason in other leagues.
right? Right. So in my opinion, this international break should be the week between conference finals and MLS Cup. And
Yeah.
however you got to fit the calendar to do that, you do that. Because, like you said, Logan, then you're not worried about running into Thanksgiving and the NFL. You're not, worried about all of those issues. Conference. I mean, we keep playing on conference,
It'll
like
be
the
conference
conference
football day.
bowls. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Big
football.
10 and yeah, they all
Yeah,
play. Yep.
We did that like last year, and
Mhm.
they alternate it from Saturday and Sundays, which means you're always running into either the NFL near the end of the season or the college football conference games. So just have it be this is like that week between, where nothing's going on between the Super Bowl week. You know how like they always have that week off,
Yeah.
usually the Pro Bowl,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Just have it be that for MLS. Now, here's the thing, too. They might be shifting calendars. So this might all be moot at some point.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, you know, it worked so well. That year that the Union made MLS Cup final, we were ending early for the World Cup. And we actually played it
I liked
like
that.
November 5th or
Yeah.
something. And it was great. And then what they did then, I think, was the October international break was kind of structured so I think we came back from like decision day and then started playoffs
I
through
think
to
so.
November 5th or something.
Yeah.
And it worked so good and they were one-off games and it was beautiful. Something has to change with this, I think, because we can't just like how do you build any hyper momentum about these games when you're taking 3 weeks off?
Mhm.
You're taking 3 weeks off in the playoffs. That never happens in any other sport. There's no 3-week break for
Right,
teams.
yeah. It's stupid. Like, you worry about the product on the field at that point because people are like, well, then there's always that, the argument of, especially in baseball, that team that gets the bye,
Too
"Ooh,
much
they're off a
rest.
week." 3 weeks, dude, like, that's, like, going completely
The
offline.
international players will still be playing, but here's the chance.
Yeah,
Here's the thing, too, right? Like anybody that's not caught up is just going to be practicing with their team, I guess.
right.
And it does. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's good for the sport, like good for the league.
Yeah. And it is. It's really tough. This is a really tough until they switch the schedule. Because Jordan, think about it. They switch the schedule. They'll probably be ending the season around April, May. There's
Yeah.
not much to compete with there. Like baseball's kind of into its weird, like it's kind of in a lull. Like May baseball is kind of like, well, it's okay. But like then you're talking about basketball, but basketball's mid playoffs. Like it's not the Eastern Conference or Western Conference finals yet. That's when it gets real good. So you're going to have, multiple chances to really make a dent in spring sports because we don't have that. It'd be right after March Madness. So March Madness would be over. The Masters would have happened. Like, so you're in a good spot there where I just feel like you're in with hockey, basketball, college football. It's insane. Like it's actually insane. And then, like you said, what
And the World
American
Series
sport?
was going on
Right.
during this time too.
Correct. Yep.
And I watched more World Series at times because I knew,
Yeah.
okay, whoever wins game one, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
there's
And game
two
I was
more
gonna
games
say,
to play.
and game 2 is in a day and a half. Like, it's not
Right,
like
right.
I'm waiting. Oh, like, what a momentum killer that is for any kind of excitement. Like, you get this thing going, and then you stop it for, like, 10 days before another team plays again in the next
Yep.
round, like, with some teams, 3 weeks, like, this is brutal. And then you're talking about the cold months, and man, does it get cold in some of these cities where these teams are gonna play. Like, you're gonna fans not go to games because they're like, "Hell to the no. I'm not gonna go sit on the river there at, whatever you call your stadium now." Um,
Subaru.
Subaru. And, for some reason, I was, wanting to call it, Citizens Bank. That's not the right one.
No, it's
But
a little further north.
yeah, right. So again, I don't know. And you and I will probably talk about this and beat the dead horse a ton over the next couple of weeks. But it's just you get excited about this stuff, and you're much more excited than I now because your union are still around. But man, like it's it's tough. It really is. And Jordan, the other thing too is sorry, not to just keep
No,
going, but
you're good.
like I feel like it's pretty much set up for the top seeds besides the 4 and 5 battle to pretty much guarantee that the top seed will probably move on. Like there's just there's just enough there where it's like one game, yeah, like Chicago could have bounced the Union in one game. Cincinnati could have been bounced by Columbus, but like you give a team 3 chances, and I get it. Like they'll say the same thing about the NBA, but if you look at the NBA, it usually does happen. Usually the best team wins, and it's kind of like, why are we prolonging this for 3 weeks just to have the better seed move on anyway? Like, because all 3 games are played in that stadium. So I don't know.
Yeah, we have okay, also, how many do you think of these 60 games we've had, 60 games of these 24 series, or yeah, how many of them have went to penalties since 2023? If you
Out
think
of
it's a lot, it's out of 60. There was
um,
39 games in 23 and 24 and 21 games this year.
I would say that I feel like there have been some penalty shootouts, but like in these rounds, yeah, I would say quite a bit.
It is a combined of 17 out of 60 games since 2023 have gone to the penalties.
So
Because they go right to
25%.
penalties. Yeah, it's about it was actually like 28% from what I found. So
Yeah,
close to 30 that we're looking at
that's
go to
tough too.
penalties. I guess that's a good call that they do penalties, because that means if not, you would have been going
Going through a bunch of extra time.
a lot of extra time to then still potentially go to
Go to
penalties. So
penalties.
just call it then.
Yeah.
But just crazy. 6 of the ones this year went to penalties, and two of those came from the Minnesota Seattle series, where Minnesota won both game 1 and 3 on penalties. So, yeah, we've had some crazy penalty games this year.
Would you ever be? Are you pro? Are you pro Premier League style? Uh, Finding out who the best is, or are you pro playoff or pro like table?
Pro playoff.
Yeah, I think so too. The
I
table
mean, because
one,
you can have somebody just run away with it,
yeah,
and it'd be
that's
like, all right,
I've been there.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it is.
bandwagoner,
It's
yeah.
exciting. Well, it's exciting for your team, but I would imagine like it's not great for TV ratings if Manchester City's always first in there. 4 weeks left in the season, nobody can catch them. I'm sure that's not fun for other
Yeah,
teams.
and people will say, well, you're looking at other stories after that and all that. I get that, but
But we don't have
um,
pro and rel. That's why I think that's what
exactly.
makes it
So
exciting, and we don't have like a established European like type championship like Champions League. I don't think we're there yet. Like I think if we had that, then it would be a little more interesting. Like if you let the top 5 teams get into like a really good tournament, which we don't
I
really
actually
have yet.
think the way that we have it is the better of the setups. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they decided to add something to the end of the Premier League season that's like, oh, the top 6 now enter a playoff, and you just still have like they're still the Premier League champion, and then we have the Premier League Cup or something.
Yeah,
Like the same. The way that we have the Supporter Shield and MLS Cup. The issue with our Supporter Shield is that we have too many teams. We can't do a balanced schedule. So that's kind of the issue. But
true.
who knows? If you like Pro Rel and stuff, USL, here they come. They're coming for it. Okay, so let's also just catch up on some news before maybe we dive into some of the preview looking ahead here. But Tata Martino back to Atlanta, homecoming.
Mind blown.
Were
Like,
you?
yeah, I when I saw
I
that, I
think
was
there was
like,
a
huh,
rumor that came around and then it became official.
yeah.
But yeah,
I just I can't believe it actually
he
is
was
a thing.
linked to, who was he linked to in the West that I had
Rapids?
sent? No, it was oh man, who is he linked to? He was linked to somebody else over there. And
Probably one of the
then
Texas teams.
And then right after that, it became being linked to Atlanta again. So I thought that was interesting. I'm gonna have to look at just a list of the teams real quick and be like, who? Oh, he was linked to LAFC. Remember, because Trundle is leaving.
Oh, that's right.
That's what it was.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I really see him fitting in LAFC. And then I guess the Atlanta job opened up, and he's like, hell yeah, I'll go back there.
I'm always just really and I think I texted you about this is when this happened is that you know there has to be other options. It just feels like every league has gotten into like this let's recycle people and it's like gosh that didn't work. I don't know. I feel like we're in this weird era of coaching and all professional sports where you have 30 some odd coaches and they just shift and they just change places. I don't know. It seems odd. Baseball is the only one that feels like they branch out at least and try something different. But
Well, I think it makes sense in the sense of like he was still good at Miami as well.
yeah,
He
he
left
was.
for like a whole
Yeah.
other reason. So I like if it's available to you and he's like a club legend coach, I don't see any reason not to. It's what I do think though is it probably comes off a little desperate.
Yeah.
Tata left, and they've not been able to get anything close to his level of management. They had Frank DeBoer for a while. I mean, like they've had so many that I don't even know if I can name them. They've had like 3 or 4 managers, right? Gonzalo Pineda.
Yeah.
Uh,
Heinze.
oh yeah, they
That
had
was a
Gabriel
disaster.
Heinze.
That was a disaster.
So they've had quite a bit. They've had quite a bit, and it just feels like this will either go and like fit like a glove again, and everything's great. You know, they've already got Almiron back, so it could be like a we're bringing back the band, right? Or it is desperate, and they're kind of like, I don't know where to go from here. Let's go back to the well,
Worked last time.
and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But this was a team that was
Very high expectations.
Very high expectations. Some people, I won't say who, thought they were going to win MLS Cup.
Yeah.
And
the one guy. What's his name? Jordan.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I was drinking, I guess, but the Kool-Aid.
For a non-drinker, I was going to say for a non-drinker, it was probably Kool-Aid.
The Atlanta Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Oh,
it
no.
was it's more oh no at that point. And you know, it's one of those things where now we get to see how it pans out. You know, they have a coach that won them an MLS Cup before. They have a team with high expectations. The bare minimum should be playoff spot. You could even go higher than that. The bare minimum is probably like a top 5, top 6 playoff spot. You know, now I think Lagerwey has taken some time away from the team.
Mhm.
He's on hiatus due to some sort of health concern that he is dealing with indefinitely. So I don't know how that will affect their dealings in the off season, but you know, hopefully everything works out for him, and you know he can come back in and you know do whatever his plan is. But it's interesting. It'll be a storyline to keep an eye on when we're doing our preview and looking ahead. Sandro Schwartz was fired from Red Bull, or you know, left mutually, whatever you want to say. And Julian de Guzman was hired there as their sporting director. So you know they'll be looking for a coach. And we also had Marko Mitrovic is hired as the Revs coach. He's a former U.S. under-20 head coach. He just took them to the under-20 World Cup where they lost to the eventual World Cup winners there. So Morocco. So we'll see how that goes, right? I mean, that's one of those things where I mean, when they first hired Caleb Porter, I thought, oh, this might be good, and then it wasn't good. So I'm probably gonna hedge my bets here
It's
for the
yeah.
Revs.
I will say it is probably the hardest sport globally to understand how a head coach is going to do stepping into a situation. Like I would put it up there as number 1. Like it is legitimately for the most part you can get a good sense of like how a head coach will do with a baseball team, how well a coach will do with basketball, but soccer is so much based in system and how it how it adapts throughout the season because MLS is very different. We've heard players say that, and it's getting better and better each year. It is. I think it's very hard for us, and maybe we could stop doing it. But everybody always wants predictions because everybody wants to tell us that we're wrong, and that's the whole fun of predictions is so you can yell at somebody that you don't know because they suck at their job. But again, I think it's so hard to tell how. Like for instance, Jordan. I mean, your team is prime example like Bradley Carnell, I would not have penned as a manager of the year type guy, but here
Well,
we sit.
it's not really that's not the what did the tweet say? It's like,
It
oh, the
was
lesson was Ern
yes,
Tanner's more
yes,
important.
or yes. Oh, that was a wild tweet. But anyway, people have wild takes. Uh, but yeah, I think in this league you cannot you cannot really tell how a coach is going to do just based off of how they've done in the past.
Yeah, it's I think soccer is so difficult because of the different leagues that just exist everywhere, right? Like
Yeah,
there's a lot more candidates and like you'll have people that were former
that's
assistants for
true.
the US. You'll have people that were youth US managers. You will have people that are
Dutch
USL
managers.
managers or Dutch managers or uh, you know,
Yeah,
African managers
right.
or you
Podcasters, like, yeah, it's
podcasters. Yeah,
yeah, we're ready.
you can get a manager from anywhere because every single country has
Yeah,
a league and it creates this opening that does not exist in any other sport
it's a good point.
because when you're picking your next NFL head coach, you're usually taking an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator from another team that was good. Um, Baseball, you're usually taking somebody that's on a coach bench from a team, right? Like you're usually not just like or you're promoting, I guess, internally from AAA
Minor
manager or
leagues, yeah.
AA, whatever.
Yeah, you're not going and they're not going to Japan to get their next manager.
Right, not
Right.
typically. Though they
Yeah.
could. That might
They
work
could. Oh,
out.
they totally could.
I
I
mean,
think it's coming,
I
but
think
yeah,
that'll happen too.
I think
You
so
just
too.
need a Japan
It's the
coach to like
network. Yeah.
post and then you have the bidding war. Like, will they do it that way?
Yeah,
I don't know how they do
post
it.
them. Yeah. They coach and they play in the field. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Oh my god. Uh, so that is kind of the big thing I think for soccer.
That's
So
a really good point.
we end up kind of guessing,
Yeah.
right? And
It's
you
fun.
don't really there's a lot of times where you're like, "Oh, they should be good because of
Yeah.
blank blank blank," and then it doesn't work out. Like, I mean, the fact that like Manchester United are still looking for their next coach to replace Alex Ferguson
Right.
is mind-blowing because they have money, they
Shots
have
fired.
resources, and they are the top job,
Yeah.
for a lot of people. So
And how quickly a managerial job can become vacant in the Premier League. Like
mhm,
Arnie
mhm.
Slot is legitimately on a hot seat because
Yeah.
he wins a title and all of a sudden they just implode. It's like, what's happening? Like, what are you doing? It's so strange. And it's that way in MLS too, Jordan. Like, you know how many times you and I have been surprised by somebody getting fired mid-season? We're like, wait, what? Like, it's happened so many times on this podcast where like stylistically there's no cohesion. So yeah, I
And
think
it
you're right.
creates the issue where, like DC United is just rebooting,
Right.
rebooting
Yeah.
each time.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I think it's very difficult to figure out, probably because the options are too open
Mhm.
that it's tough to find the right person,
Yeah.
you know? Okay, so let's take a look at the results that happened here. Philadelphia swept Chicago. Miami won game 1 and 3 against Nashville. Minnesota won game 1 and 3 against Seattle, which was probably game 3 of that was the best game probably in this whole round. You had 2 early goals from Seattle, a red card to Minnesota pretty early on, and then Minnesota clawing their way back in, going to penalties, Seattle having a chance to win the penalty, then it going back to Minnesota, and then it goes out to the goalkeepers. Thomas had made so many great saves for Seattle, and then he misses his penalty. And it is just brutal for Seattle, but Minnesota kind of get that revenge from, I guess 2021, and move on to the next round. Vancouver swept Dallas. San Diego won game 1 and 3 against Portland. Cincy won game 1 and 3 against Columbus, ending Darlington Nagbe's career. So for him, hell was real. And then NYCFC won game 1 and 3 against Charlotte, and LAFC swept. So there was only 3 sweeps in this. And now we have the next matchups here. We have on the 22nd, Vancouver versus LAFC. That should be a really good one.
Yeah. A clash of teams, Jordan, that I don't think many had on their bingo card, at least Vancouver being the top seed over LAFC. I think another thing too is like Vancouver, you and I have covered this, what, 4 years now? It's 4.5 years.
5 years,
yeah.
4.5 seasons, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, it's always been about what has Vancouver done for you lately, and it's never been good. It's always been fall apart at the end. Well, now they've got arguably one of the best players in MLS in Thomas Mueller. And he's going up against another one of the best players in MLS now in Son. So it's like the dynamics here. Like this feels like old European battles, like the old get the Germans and you've got the World Cup in South Korea. Like you've got all this happening, and these legendary players for both their countries are going to square off as crucial talisman in the middle of the pitch. And I think it's got the makings, Jordan, of probably the best matchup that we've got in this next round.
The 23rd, we have Cincinnati versus Miami. And we also have Philly NYCFC. Then on the 24th, there's some sort of conflict I think Minnesota had or something that pushed this to the 24th. Minnesota and San Diego will face off on the Monday. Then the 29th is the conference finals, and then the MLS Cup final is December 6th. So once we get back to November 23rd, which is in an absurd 12 days from now, we're 11 days from now for the next game, we will start having weekly games leading up to that MLS Cup. So that'll be it's all downhill from here, which is great in a good way. All downhill meaning like you're sledding downhill. It's like boom, 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 boom. But so you said Vancouver LAFC. Is that like your pick of the 4 matchups of which one is most intriguing to you?
Yes, in the way that I think it's a clash of giants. I think San Diego and the Loons, I think there's a little bit of hesitancy there just because still, again, San Diego is an expansion side and Minnesota has had the tendency to kind of disappear at times. So it's like there's still a little bit of that for me. Whereas like Vancouver and LAFC, Jordan, like I would almost predict the winner of I'm going to do it. The winner of the Vancouver and LAFC series is going to win MLS Cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you're wrong.
I know.
So we have
that's my bold prediction.
All right, let's look at the head-to-head here. So you mentioned San Diego, Minnesota. San Diego's new. They've only had 2 games against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Back in June, San Diego beat Minnesota in Minnesota to a score of 4-2. In September, in San Diego, Minnesota beat San Diego 3-1. So it's tied 1-1, no draws. And the away team has won each one so far. So this game's going to be in San Diego. So do we want to lock in Minnesota wins because they're the away team?
Yeah. Yes. It's a foregone conclusion.
It's got to be.
I wouldn't be shocked. I'll be honest with you.
No, I mean, I think they showed a lot of grit. Minnesota showed in that game against Seattle to come back. They could have lost that game 2-0 down and a man down, and you just give up. The first 8 minutes, I was able to watch I sat down for the first 8 minutes as I'm, I think I was laying down because I had a headache or something, and was able to sneak away and watch the first 8 minutes of this game, and I saw boom, 2 goals, and I'm like, oh, I may not have to stick around for this one, and then I come back from something and I see red card, and I'm like, oh, Minnesota is done.
Yeah, cooked.
How wrong I was. Yeah. And then I was able to, sneak some more watches on my phone as I'm going throughout the days, and got to see Minnesota win the penalty kick. All right, so if we look at head-to-head for Vancouver and LAFC, this is if we go all matches ever since 2018, who do you think has the best record?
LAFC by a long shot.
You're correct. It's 12 wins to Vancouver's 7 wins and 6 draws. This season, though, Vancouver beat them in June 1-0 in LA, and they drew 2-2 in Vancouver. And that's really all that matters. Last year doesn't matter because it's a whole new Vancouver team. Yeah. Thomas Mueller wasn't there. None of that matters. So it'll be curious. June was the last time they faced off, and it was a 20-minute goal from Sabi that won the game for Vancouver after LAFC had 13 shots to 5 and a 63% possession. So, there it is. Vancouver, LAFC, Saturday, November 22nd at 9:30. History shows this year Vancouver comes out on top with getting 4 points because they've had a win and a draw. All right, Cincinnati, Miami is at 5 o'clock on Sunday, November 23rd. And if we look at their head-to-head recently, in July, it was a 0-0 result. That was July 26th. July 16th, Cincinnati won 3-0. Who could forget last year when Cincinnati beat Miami 6-1 in July, but then Miami won a month later 2-0. So Cincinnati this year, though, they've only played each other in July 16th and July 26th, and Cincinnati got 4 points from that. If we look at their total head-to-head ever, it is dead even. Cincinnati's won 5 games, Miami's won 5 games, and they've drawn 3. Who's your pick there, if you're going to pick somebody?
Ooh, this is tough because one, obviously, is Messi. 5 goals, 3 assists.
Who scored every game against Nashville?
5 goals,
they faced each other
in one series. Jordan, that's nuts. 3 games,
and he scored against them on decision day. They played each other.
Yep.
So that was.
I want to pick Miami because they got Messi. I'm gonna lean more Cincinnati because it's gonna be cold. I think it's gonna be cold and I don't know.
This is 2 weeks from now. We have no clue.
It's December by then in Cincinnati. It should be cold. If it's not, then they're screwed. But I don't know, Jordan. I just feel like Cincinnati still has remnants of that defense that can be so good at times. I think messy. It's messy or bust with Miami. Like, that's the way I feel about them. Like, if there is a game where he's not playing well, they will lose. Um, they're not good defensively. Cincinnati has Evander, who was arguably one of the better attackers in the whole league this year. Didn't show up against them in their last game, but that they played each other. But I've got this sneaky feeling that Cincinnati's they're going to be the one that knocks Messi out. And I don't know. I've never felt this year that they were going to win MLS Cup. I've never felt like once it got to a certain point, I just felt like Miami just doesn't feel like it. Like it's Messi
No.
or die. And he's had teams where it's been that Messi or die, and it's usually been dead. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like that those PSG teams that he was on,
Yeah.
where he's got some talent around him, but not good enough to beat teams as a collective unit. And I just feel like Cincinnati, with the branches of Philadelphia Union in them, I think that they're up to the task.
I mean, here's how close it was. Cincinnati and Miami both finished with 65 points. Cincinnati won one more game and had 3 fewer draws than Miami, which led to Miami had 2 less losses to Cincy for Cincy than Cincy. Now, here's the thing. So Cincinnati got it because of wins, but goal differential tells a totally different story. Miami scored 81 goals and gave up 55. Cincinnati scored 52 and gave up 40. So they don't give up a lot, but you're also going up against the biggest power pretty much when it comes to scoring. So what does that look like, right? Like 81 has got to be the most out of everybody, right? I don't even think there's anybody in the West that had that much. No,
There's nobody that
it's.
close.
But the thing is, if we look at the results that we were just alluding to here, they've held Miami to 0 goals when they've played this year in July. And even last year, they held them to 3. So Miami doesn't score a lot against Cincinnati. So there's a plus there. But how can you count out Messi and Cruz? So that is the question. I'll tell you, as a Union fan, I would prefer Cincinnati go through.
Yeah.
I'd rather face our brother and have it be like just an absolute brawl, which is what I think it's probably going to be if that's the case.
It'll get interesting if Miami does move on to face your Union.
Yeah, because we have the Union and NYCFC at 7:30 on Sunday. They've faced each other twice this year, both games a 1-0 win for each team. Philadelphia won in October, NYCFC won in April. Both games finished 1-0. Like I said, each team has won 12 games and they've drawn twice. So that's curious. Now, usually the Union, I would say, lately have had a pretty good record against them. If we go back to 2023 or 2022 when they go to MLS Cup, they swept NYCFC in 2022, including the playoffs. They win 3-1 in May of 2023, 2-1 of July of 2023. They lose in May of last year, 2-1. That's when they were really starting to hit that sinking ship feeling, Philly, because that was like April, right? We went and saw them against RSL, and I saw them against Seattle, and everything was starting to fall apart. But they win in September 5-1 against NYCFC. Then earlier this year, like I said, NYCFC won and Philly winning in October. So out of those times that I've read since 2022, NYCFC has won 2 of those. So I would feel pretty good if I'm the Union going into this. Now, again, if you're going it just by this year, this coach, these teams, it's a toss up, 1-0 each time. I would feel a lot better. The Union have to score more than one goal to win this game, is my opinion. Probably have to score 2 or 3 to feel really good about it. After what they did against Chicago that first game. But are you going Philly here, or are you NYCFC?
Yeah, I actually think that this game will be the worst one out of the 4, in the fact that I don't think that NYCFC will keep it that close. Like I'm
Or you
just
think
not
Philly just
bought it.
goes in and
Yeah, I
beats
think they
them?
do. I think Philly's
At
just so
home.
deep. Yes, they're deep, and again, you and I have talked about this multiple times, where teams that are deep, that have had guys with experience, that can have those guys. And the other thing too with Philly is, like, I know some people are concerned about that, well, when the going gets tough, who are they going to rely on? Is it going to be Ty Baribo? Is he going to be the one that can carry Philly to that next level? Is there somebody else that's going to step up? But I just feel like at each position, Philadelphia is just so strong, and it is so hard to beat a collective unit when they've played this well this year. And I just feel like NYCFC relies on a couple of really good players. And I just feel like that in other places, they're just not as capable as Philadelphia. And this is probably the more ideal matchup for Philly. So yeah, no, I think this is actually like a 2-0, 3-0 Philadelphia win.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, but those games don't happen for another
2 weeks.
12 to 13 days.
We'll see you next month. No, just kidding.
So I guess that's going to be the week of Thanksgiving that it all.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, it's going to be tough for us to record then. We'll have to
Find
figure
some
that
time,
out.
maybe.
But
Yeah, it's okay. I think the next round's like Christmas, so we should have time. And then I think the finals in the 4th of July or something. So
could you imagine?
yeah, they're actually going to put next year's final where they usually have the MLS All Star. They've decided just to play the
just do it then.
2025 final in 2026.
Oh, so it's like no, that's different. I was gonna say, so it's like the Madden or FIFA names,
Right,
where
yeah.
it's like the totally wrong number for the
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Anything else that we did not?
I know. I was
Talk
trying to
about.
think. I think if there's anything. I don't think so. Like, I don't think we had any exciting, except did you see where people think Pochettino called in the wrong Tillman?
Yeah, I saw that was like a joke going around, or that
I was like,
confused or
okay, I
something.
don't think that was it. But
No, I think they were joking, but
yeah, that was
look,
funny.
I'm not
I laughed.
even
That was pretty good.
these friendly, as sad as it sounds, are not even on my radar. They're just not, because I don't know if it's because I don't have as much time, or if it's because the vibes are low, but probably a mix of both.
Yeah, and the matchups aren't like
the matchups aren't great.
Yeah.
I think I used to be really hype about like friendlies and watch them all the time, and I think part of that was because we were coming off of like 2010
Yeah.
and 2014's World Cup results, and I was
Feeling pretty good about where you were.
I was
Yeah.
feeling good about the how we were heading, and now with the Copa loss and rebooting, getting rid of Greg, bringing in
The
Pochettino,
players' attitudes.
we were excited about Pochettino. Then things started going south. It's just wait and see until next summer. As sad as it is to say, but that's kind of where we're at.
Jordan, I know I think you've said this to me before too, but like as time had gone on, the U.S. men's national team and covering the U.S. men's national team was one of my favorite things to do. Watching them was one of my favorite things to do. Like, there is no other feeling, and I wish I could go back to this time and appreciate it more. Jordan, in 2014, when I was in college, watching the World Cup, because I didn't work until late and all the games were early, like, there was no better time. Like, I would go home and play World Cup
Yeah.
FIFA, and I would watch highlights from the games I missed while I worked, and then wake up the next morning and watch all day wall to wall coverage of World Cup. And there's, I guess, that's what I want to feel again. But I know as time has gone on, obviously we've gotten older, but there's just like that lack of like guys I want to get behind. Like these dudes that were on 2014, they were guys I wanted to get behind. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I had some really favorite players like in 2014. Like
I
I
would still
love
say like
Dempsey. Like
I
I
still
do,
think I still think 2022 was fun World Cup and
I
like
do.
all
Yeah.
that was great. I think next year will be fun, like sitting
Yeah, it
down
will
and
be.
doing my
Yeah.
Panini sticker book and all that stuff. But I do think it'll be it'll really depend on how it feels. Like I remember 2006, and it was a little bit of a it was my first World Cup I was really watching, and with my dad, and we watched Germany and we watched US, and US crashed out of that tournament in the group stage.
Yeah.
And I don't remember that one as fondly as 2010 or 2014, where we had really fun moments. The Donovan Algeria goal in 2010, 2014, taking the lead against Portugal and then ending up, kind of giving it up late. But the John Anthony Brooks goal in game 1 of that World Cup, where it looked like we were going to, you know, not win. It was against Ghana, I guess, and then ending up him
Ghana, yeah.
scoring late. It's those type of moments that really stick with me. 2018 we weren't in it, right? And then 2022
The
I
game
don't think
against
we
England was
the
like the
game
only
against
thing I
England
could
was
think,
probably
and
the
it was a
best
draw.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, so it's one of those things, right, where it's like I'm sure I will have fun and be like into it next summer and be
Yeah.
I can't even get tickets. I've tried.
Yeah.
Marking off my Panini sticker book, watching the games, right? Because they'll be on prime time times for us over here. But if the U.S. sucks in this thing, it's not going to get close to my rankings of top World Cups.
Right.
And that's a shame.
Yeah. Mostly because we've gotten to live through the prime of what U.S. soccer was. Like
Yeah.
those were 10 and 14 those were fun. Those were a lot
Yeah.
of fun. I'm just, I want that feeling again, like something cool to happen in 2024 or
2026.
2026.
Yeah.
Sorry. Wow, I'm totally lost. But yeah, like
The thing is, I can't keep dealing with this where every 4 years we're looking ahead and saying maybe that will be the time the vibes
yeah,
come back. Like we
right.
can't keep living
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't. All right. Well, I guess that's it. You can follow us on all of our social medias at Stateside Show. I sometimes post there still. I've been
X is a
trying to post
cesspool.
them.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Well, not
I
just there, but I tried to
yeah.
post on all
Yeah.
of them, but it gets hard to keep up with that at times. But usually if there's a really good game or something that catches my attention, I'll post some stuff about it. Or, I posted that little stat about how many teams are going through if they win game 1 versus winning or losing game 1. So I posted that kind of stuff, but mainly because I was trying to figure it out, but I didn't see anybody else bringing it up online. So I was like, I guess it's only 2 years of data. I'll just quickly look at it real quick and see what it is. We have, I podcast about other stuff as well if people are interested about that. Soups and Sabers for all of our Star Wars, Marvel, DC stuff over there. I actually just launched a little side project over there called Bond Pod, where I talk James Bond stuff because I've only seen the Daniel Craig movies, and I decided I was going to start watching from the beginning and sharing my thoughts as I watch each James Bond movie. So I figured I would put those up over there. We have the new James Bond game coming out next year as well, which is one of my anticipated games. And I also just launched a new Flash rewatch podcast. If you're a fan of CW's Flash, that's over there, called Enter Flash Time. You can look that up over there, but we're all over there. We might have Logan on to talk some Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Game of Thrones spinoff coming up
I'm
in
looking forward to that.
January.
That's gonna
So
be
that
great.
should be some fun. But yeah, so we do a lot of other stuff over there as well. When Ted Lasso comes back, we'll do the
We'll
episode
be back,
here
baby. So
and
back.
Believe Cast, which will
Yes.
be fun.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Like a podcast that we kind of felt was dead coming back.
Yeah, we thought it was over.
Right. Now it's back, baby.
Yeah, and we get tons of listens on
We
there
do.
still, actually.
Yeah, people I feel like I feel like with this we're signing up for at least 2 or 3 more seasons of Ted.
You would
Like it
think.
might not
You
be
wouldn't think
Ted,
they'd come
but
back
yeah,
for
no,
just
not for
one,
one
right?
season,
Like,
no.
that
So I'm
seems
thinking
odd.
like it's probably a 3, probably kind of like that same thing, like a 3 season like
Arc.
all right, we've took our break. Now here's another, 3 seasons of Ted. Because I feel like 3 seasons is good to establish those characters. And I felt like,
Yeah.
honestly, like I've always hated when shows kind of end with 3 seasons, but I felt like Ted Lasso, Jordan, is the perfect series. Like, there's not, because
There's
we
a
get
little
into this
risk here, is what
vacuum.
you're
Yeah,
saying. There's a little
yes,
risk coming back.
there is a little bit. I feel like another thing too is like, and we're in this with now with Stranger Things, and I think we're in this vacuum of like people hating to hate on things when
Yes.
ultimately
Or loving to hate on
entertainment is like entertainment is made to entertain. And I know you and I you might be a little different. It's been a while since I've talked to you about Game of Thrones finale, but honestly, I didn't see it ending any other way than it did end. So I was fine. I was like, you know what? That was fine. Like that's how else was it supposed to end? Like what else like if you go through all their character arcs, I'm like, that's how it's supposed to end.
Well, we may never know because
Right.
George
Yeah.
was not
Well,
writing
that's
these
true.
damn
Yeah,
books.
he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's gonna die before we. But like you know what I mean. But anyway,
Yeah,
like we're onto a whole different thing. But yes, I'm looking forward to Ted Lasso because I really do feel like it was the one show, Jordan, that I've ever watched where I felt like the ending, like there wasn't a lull to get to the end. Because there's some of those shows that, like, for instance, I was a big Scrubs fan. Like Scrubs has a really weird season before its last season, and then they just kind of throw everybody into the last season. And luckily it's coming back. But again, I think Ted Lasso has, if I had to pick, it's probably the most perfect end to end that I've ever seen. So
I just started watching Scrubs for the first time, actually. So I'm
good.
going through that, trying to, if I can, get that done before the new season drops. But
it was my go-to back in high school.
If people are fans of Ted Lasso, I would also say if you like reality TV, Celebrity Traders UK, Nick Mohammed was on there, and he was one of my favorites I was watching over there. So I don't know where you can watch it. Really, I found it on a site, but it's not on Peacock yet, if that's where it's going to go. But he was great on it. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so then Ted Lasso will be back. We'll have those episodes here on Stateside Soccer Show as well as Believe Cast, of course, like we did last time. But can't wait for that. That'll probably be sometime next year, I would think. But yeah. Well, that's it. Thank you all for watching and listening along, and we'll catch you next time in about 2 weeks' time after these next round of games.